right, let me see. All right, I gotta do it through this phone thing here. I don't know if I can see both of y'all at the same time. If it's not one thing, it's another. I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to try to get out of here early to be back in time and make it for that class tomorrow evening because apparently this Wi-Fi is definitely not working. How is it sounding? Is it sounding better? Well, it's not sounding better. How am I looking? I'm on the phone now. I had to get off of that, but I wanted to pull up those slides, not all of the slides, but I just wanted to show y'all some books because it's a lot of heavy stuff out here. People think often that, oh, I'm upset with the church and I just be out here talking. It's not real. It's not talk. A lot of occultists brought this gibberish in that we call speaking in tongues. I'm not saying all tongues are not right and exact, but there is a satanic tongue, and people have been manipulating with that satanic tongue. They've been opening up doors and portals and spirits, and they've been controlling people through tongues. People have built ministry through tongues and false prophecy. Now we're going to talk about dreams and visions, and we're going to connect them with Satanists. We have to connect them with Luciferians, and we have to connect them with these teachers, whoever these teachers were. Whoever these angels were that taught this other thing that goes contrary to the written word, we should have a problem with that. And there's a lot of people that believe things and practice things that's contrary to the written word. So that book, that book, I'm gonna pull up that book and I'm gonna put up Egyptian occultism. I got about 10 books I wanted to show y'all, but y'all gonna have to just jump on tomorrow. Y'all gonna have to jump on tomorrow, or maybe later on today. I don't know. I might try to get out of here now, seeing that this Wi-Fi is acting up in here. And it's maybe because it's I don't know, maybe because I don't know, these hotels don't usually have the best um Wi-Fi. But if the reason I said that this stuff is important is because John D and Kelly, they were like, listen, we need a different type. Listen to me. They said we need a different type of Christianity that's going to be open and accepting people. So they wanted to put a spin on Christianity. And they said that in order to do this, the spirits told them, and they felt it was their mission in order to do this, they had to force the hand for the apocalypse to come because they were ushering in a new kingdom. So by the time they wrote, what's his name, wrote Secret Destiny of America, when the pilgrims and everybody started coming over here, when all of that stuff started happening, they said, listen, we're going to make that place, that's going to be the new promised land. We're going to make that place. So spiritually, they came here, and there was a lot of occultists that set up symbols. This is why we have what we have with George Washington. I gotta show y'all the Capitol. I gotta show y'all some things, some symbols that they have. They deeply believed in this stuff. Deeply believed in this stuff. Now, these were the alchemists. So when we say we're an alchemist and I'm building, I'm changing myself, I'm developing myself into God. Where are Moses at? That's what the Egyptians were doing. That's what they practiced. And even a lot of culture traditions said that's what Nimrod practiced. And that's why it's a whole nother thing when you get to Jasher and what happened to the garments and how mixing the power of God with your own will, you can make some stuff happen. And that's what we people were doing. Later on, we brought this stuff into church, mixing the power of God. We're going to do what we want to do. We can have our own destiny, and we got the power to speak things. I want to talk about magic and speaking words. I want to talk about that because charismatic Pentecost, we done took that and ran amok with that. We don't run amok with that, but then they say the church, oh, leave the church alone. Leave the church alone. When I see the occult in full swing inside a lot of these churches. Now, it's not every church because every church don't believe that. And I wish I could pull up Khalid Muhammad, and I got Khalid Muhammad and Joyce Myers. I ain't even telling y'all everything, but we're gonna post some. We got some slides into some things that we need to talk about because deep state Christianity is deep in this. And I'm gonna go back to John Kelly and them. So Kelly and them was saying that the thing that we have to do is we have to force the apocalypse. Now, why would God fearing people that's communicating with God's holy angels, if they were God's holy angels and these were messages from God, and then they can do satanic things and they'll connect somebody like Enoch? What Enoch? Which Enoch are you talking about? And they'll connect names like Enoch, and people would automatically receive a doctrine. We start talking about the seals of Solomon and the keys of Moses, and this is the deeper teaching, and this is how the temple really came together. And the temple is your body, so the occult science behind your body. You got to burn a candle and lay down facing the east and the rising of the sun. What do these things mean? They say it's a deeper meaning. Angels gave them some stuff. So back to the tongue thing. Everybody can open up themselves with a tongue. And you know, a lot of Kojic people and stuff, because mom and them was forcing you to get the Holy Ghost. They're going to force you to stay on the altar. You made up a tongue. People open themselves up to demon spirits. I'm talking about gibberish now. I'm talking about false tongues. I'm talking about demonic tongues right now. And it's interesting because some people get in church and they don't get to praying. And they can get up there and show off and pray for 2-3 hours in tongues. Shut them tongues down and let's hear if you curse. Because a lot of people speaking in these tongues and they cursing God and they're cursing you. These are demons that's manifesting itself. Now, some people could say, well, that's not right and exact, but when it comes down to it, different occult traditions, they speak in tongues. Multiple missionaries will tell you, they said, we were in a we were in the midst of casting out demons, and the demons started speaking in tongues. So this is I don't see that in the Bible. These are things that's going on, and we need to understand that. So when we said that the country was founded on a Christian doctrine, on Christian beliefs, on Christ, all of these words mean nothing. Bible, Christian, Israel, all of these words mean nothing because occultists use the same exact words, the same exact speech. They do the same things. We pray, we speak in tongues, they speak in tongues. We fast, they fast. It's no different. Now, how can we tell and how can we begin to discern? Because to be honest, because there were manifestations and tongues and this and that, and to be honest, a lot of people, a lot of ministries, especially the Pentecostal charismatic church, they use tongues just to manipulate the people, just to look super spiritual, and in tongues and interpreting tongues, and it's getting into witchcraft because I'm going to manipulate you, and the word of the Lord came unto me to tell you to do this. They got too much power over individual people, and this is witchcraft in the house of God. And it's going on, and people are doing it for gain. People are doing it to make merchandise out of other people. People are doing it to manipulate others because that's part of the sin nature. I want to have control over you. So that's how come the Rick gives us guidelines of a spirit-filled person. The Bible says, believe not every spirit. I'm in the book right now. We can't believe every spirit. Because we got these spirits coming, and I'm going to explain something else, because when I line up with John D and when I line up what Aleister Crowley and them did, I'm going to show y'all some videos with Kenneth Hagin and them speaking in tongues, the people that y'all love, the people that y'all looking up to. Matter of fact, listen, I'm telling you, I know I'm going to get offline right now, because I'm telling y'all right now, and this may not sound right, I'm tired of listening to old white men tell me about God. I'm tired of reading Matthew Henry and all these old white folk commentaries. I don't want to hear nothing from them because they brought the occult doctrine in from Europe. I shouldn't have said that. I should. Now I'm getting offline. This is how come I can't talk like I want to talk. I could talk in class, but I just don't want to hear certain things from them people when behind the doors they were practicing things. And these things came down, and these things have been on the set. They just been on the low. That's all it is. It's just been on the low, but they've always left breadcrumbs and stuff for people to see. But now that the manipulation is full blown, now that it's fully out there, this is how come a lot of these teachers are scared. Listen, y'all start doing things that are not biblical. I've been telling y'all Rob Moses for years. I said, listen, you can say what you want. Us Pentecostal charismatic people, we have wholeheartedly brought the occult doctrine in the church, and people accept it. It's the power to change. It's the power, the ability of having positive thoughts, throwing energies out there. The brother got shot. We just got to send energy to the hospital. Where do we get that from? Is it something from God, or is it something that has been manipulated? Because a lot of people will tell you that the Egyptians practiced energy. There are a lot of shamans, Indians practiced energy. They practice channeling, what we call channeling. All this is channeling. All this is channeling. Y'all got this thing twisted. Holy Spirit, this is spirit that. And a lot of times when people come, they go to church to do spiritual work. I remember them Baptists. Put the name of them Baptist people in there. You're a lot of the Baptist ladies wear the white and got the fruit in the front of the church. Fruit for the angels. Listen, matter of fact, and then some people say, well, how do you get involved in all of this? One time I'm with a lady and with another lady, a bishop. I don't even want to say her name, but I'm with them people, and I work for a couple of different ministries. And I said, well, let me go around there and let me help her. And I got to connect with my man, Pastor Burns. Shout out to Elders and them over there. Open Door Church of God in Christ. Shout out to them. And I'm getting the food and everything over there. Then I'm praying. I'm like, Lord, I'm hitting them streets. We out here, we preaching, we teaching, we giving the food out. How come this thing ain't growing? I'm feeling some type of way. I'm telling y'all, I'm mystical. I'm feeling some type of way. And then after prayer about the third or the fourth Sunday, she said, "Go ahead out there and you pray, have Bible study, do whatever." And then I think her daughter was having the devotion as the people were coming in, but it was no big crowd for the size of the building. This lady built the building off the ground. She had money, and it's all spirit working. So then I go in the back, and I got my daughter with me. She was little back then. So I go in the back, and she had a white table. I noticed in her office she had the table uncovered, and it was eggs and it was some peanuts. So my little greedy old daughter going over there touching them, what you call it. And then when I saw it, I was like, because I've been praying. I've been praying, God, you got to show me something. I don't know what's going on, but it's something. And through all of that stuff, come to find out, she saw the look on my face. I even started binding the enemy. She said, we all do this. She said, a lot of bishops do this. We practice, we love God and everything, but there's other things that we can do to keep those other pastors off me. They hate me. They want me to lose the building. So they come in and they putting salt in the front. Pastors! I'm talking about pastors. I'm sick of y'all. Y'all ain't finna tell me nothing about the church. Y'all ain't finna tell me nothing. And the other bishops and them coming around and they working other stuff. So she working her stuff too. So then she told me, she said, well, I'm going to pray. What you gonna do? I said, well, I'm getting out of here. I said, I'm taking my baby out there. We're gonna hit the road. She said, well, 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to the bodega and I'm going to bless the bodega. The Spanish people paying her, they giving her thousands, and she go up in there working her other stuff. I'm talking about a bishop. I'm talking about a bishop in the Lord's church. And this is what it is. And a lot of this stuff is some strange stuff going on. Now, people can say, well, you're saying this and you're exposing your brain. You always talk about the negative. I'm talking about some things that people need to understand that's out here. I told y'all a long time ago, I said, y'all got to be careful who's sneaking up in your congregation, who's sending their baby mamas in your congregation, who's doing different things. And we just got to know it for what it is. Y'all got to understand when you start seeing some of these prayer lines and start hearing some of them tongues and these hands. Come on, I just want to lay my hands on you. No, you don't. I'm good right now. I'm good right now, but too many of y'all are scared to tell a pastor no, so they can manipulate and do whatever because you feel it's the pastor. Whatever he come out of his mouth, whatever he say, whatever he do is right and exact. And this is not to speak against the bad pastors. If you a pastor, you shouldn't even be offended if you teaching, discipling people, loving people, doing the right, preaching the word of God, and you ain't into your cult. But then we have other people that's trained in this thing, this prosperity thing. The scriptures do say death and life is in the power of the tongue. How far can I take that? Can I send out energy? Can I send out blessings? Can I curse those that speak against my ministry? Can I do certain things like that? What's going on if you're a believer and you can pray for 2-3 hours and the tongue just rattling off in your mind, just going crazy, and you don't know, and you can't pray 15 minutes in English? No, it could be another spirit that's at work. And you ain't living a holy, upright life before the Lord. It could be another spirit that's at work. And you could stay in constant bondage, fornication, whatever. It could be another spirit that's at work. And we see a lot of this. I'm talking about charismatic tongue talkers today. I'm talking about I am a Pentecostal, and I'm talking about the Pentecostals today. We got to call this thing for what it is. And there's a lot of that there. So back to John D. So John D and them, they wanted to change this Christianity. They wanted a different type of Christianity to accept all type of other people. They wanted a Christianity that can look into the deeper mysteries of God. When you folk try to go so deep, y'all get past the book. Y'all so deep, y'all get past the book. And Lucifer right there. That's reality. That's reality. And a lot of people is to that place. A lot of people on the side, they're practicing things because they want things to happen in their life, so they manipulate the energies, the forces, the spirits. But I want to get into some things because Kenneth Hagin, Kenneth Copeland, all these folk back in the day tell you what, I had a dream these African pastors too. I'm gonna drag these Africans in this to these other African pastors paying the fool. I got heaven on the phone. What you devils doing? Kenneth Copeland and them talking about God took him to heaven. Kenneth Hagin, God, the angel came to the side of my bed and he rubbing my feet and all this other nonsense. When you go into second heaven spirituality, when you open yourself to the occult, and I'm gonna show y'all even John Mack's book on abduction. Where do these people go? What do they be seeing? They're getting caught up into the second heaven. It's a stage. I'm gonna bring Steve's book out there, The Second Coming of the New Age. We're gonna talk. We're gonna talk, but I want to stay up here for another 2 days. But I know the church. I got to get back, and I got to do some work, and I got to really get back if I can't pull up these slides. I thought I could at least do that from up here, but it's a lot of stuff. Demons, these spirits, when they get a hold of your mind, they can do things to you. That's how I said I'm going to bring up John Mack's book on abduction. Now he was from Harvard psychiatry. He said, listen, all these people talking about they had close encounters and they left their body and something came and took them out their room at nighttime. These folk ain't crazy. After being in Harvard so many years, they trying to cut him off, thinking he crazy. He turned around and had to sue them, and he locked and he brought other scholars on, psychiatrists, PhD. He said, listen, this is what it is. Medical doctor. He said something is happening to these people. Then he wanted to know, where are these beings? Where are these beings when you don't see them? These are all fair questions. John D and all of these people, all the Rosicrucians, they all secretly was connected with spirit guides. Benjamin Franklin, them, they were Hellfire Club. They all were connected with spirit guides, involved in sex cult rituals and stuff like that, to draw down the energy, to pull the energy, to bring the spirits unto themselves, so they can have guides, or they can have imps, or they can have genies to go forth. Different cultures call it different things, but it's all the same nonsense. It's dealing with them other spirits. So then they said that some things started happening. The spirit took them up. This is what the Protestants, this is what the name and the claim of people saying. God took me to heaven and I started seeing stuff. Or Manuel Swedenborg, I went up there and the angels were showing me their house, and we started, and they start talking about a whole bunch of stuff that's not biblical. Then they start practicing things that's not biblical. Then it takes you down the road to where these spirits want to take you to debauchery, to madness. And Kelly and them, he end up getting up out of there. A whole bunch of stuff end up going on with these people. Their story is interesting. But in the midst of that, when we start talking about their story and stuff, their story continues to this day. And remember, these were the alchemists. These were the wise men. These were the magi. These were the magicians. These were the mystics that dealt with the spirit realm. Once they all started getting locked into the spirit realm, and what Dee did and what Kelly and them did, they was locked in with Queen Elizabeth. They were locked in with the Tudors. They were locked in with certain bloodlines, and they put blessings on them from them angels to govern those houses. He was the first one to use the term the British Empire, and they brought spirits there. They had rituals. They gave advice. But after they did all of this stuff, after all of the mystics and everybody in the lodges started communicating and doing spiritual occult things, they turned the whole thing. They turned alchemy. They turned that stuff into what we would call a science. And then later on, they gave us the scientific method. But after they connected with these spirits, they turned around and told y'all there ain't no spirit world. We forget CERN and all what they trying to do over there. There ain't no spiritual world. If you can't see it, it ain't real. That's what they started promoting and giving us in the school, but on the low, all the royal houses, on the low, the president, they've been having seances in the White House. Read Occult America, Mitch Horowitz. Listen, this country is established on spirituality, period. Period. Now they got folk running around here. Oh, there is no real spiritual realm, and that's the job to disconnect us from God. Or if we do get caught up into that realm, get us caught up into the second heaven occult doctrine. Never tied into the everlasting God. They don't want you tied into the everlasting God. Discussing God and God's kingdom. That kingdom come, that will be the what you want me to do, God. No, because in Christianity, you see right now, everybody, God, come and follow me and do what I want you to do for me. And this is what we see a lot of stuff going on. This is a lot of the preaching and stuff that we got going on in deep state America and deep state Christianity in this country. We just got to call it for what it is. We got to call it for what it is. I'll bring some other stuff out tomorrow. I don't even know if I'm going to have this thing. Let me go see if I can get out of here, back on the highway. Unless I can go somewhere else. Maybe I can go to the church and we can lay into some other things. But there's a lot of things that they talk about in the occult: baptism and raising yourself up, chakras, revelation, when we talk about the different churches, do they have something to do with your temple? Because this is your temple. This is your temple right here. This is the temple. The temple is where it's at. The power is in your mind. You got to let the serpent loose. So we're going to study yoga. We're going to talk about yoga. We're going to talk about metaphysics. We're going to talk about the New Age and the occult and the differences. And we're going to look at the similarities with everybody. We got to look at the similarities with Joyce Myers and Farrakhan and we got to look at the similarities with everybody. Everybody. We got to look at the God doctrine. We got to look at it all around the world. and then we're gonna get to a place. We're gonna get back to Genesis, and it's gonna show us some stuff, and we're gonna compare every other religion, every other secret teaching, what they say, and it lines up with that serpent in that other tree, and what God says in this other tree, the tree of life. Why do we have to talk about that? Because a lot of people, even when we start dealing with aliens, John D, all these angels that came to them, all these abductions, all this stuff happening with people, and people ask, a lot of people have asked. They ask, well, what about Jesus? Yeah, we know him. We know who he is. He's around too, or he's one of us. A lot of people are teaching, a lot of cults are teaching that the God of the Bible is the wicked God, and Lucifer and all of the other beings are all on the same level. They just a host of UFOs, different level of grays, different level of aliens, and whatever you want to call these supernatural beings that came down here. There's one mean one that he broke away from the rest of the gods, and he said, I'm God all by myself, and he was ignorant. He ain't want to talk to the other gods, and the other gods want to free us, so the other gods sprinkle the occult doctrine in all the religions throughout the world, and just this one group of people, Israel, with this one book, got this one other God. He don't want you to talk to no other beings but himself, and they got him as the bad guy. And Helen Blavatsky, everybody, they got him as the bad guy. She said, well, you got to admit Adonai, you got to admit that Jehovah is God, but Lucifer's God too. That's how come the Mormon Masonic doctrine in the Mormon church said that Jesus and Lucifer are brothers. They're brothers. They're brothers. One good guy, one bad guy. Everybody got universe. Everybody fighting over some people down here. And it's crazy because they said the gods put us down here to mine for gold. If you're dealing with Zechariah Stitches, so many different stories, but all of these stories are connected when you're looking at them alongside the Bible. It's a problem. These stories are connected in a way that y'all, even the stories with giants, y'all don't talk about giants in church. Y'all go to seminary, y'all don't believe none of that stuff. Y'all don't believe on certain things about bloodlines and all of this stuff, but these are things that we have to look at. Is there a connection with the royal houses in Europe and presidents over here? Are those people supposed to rule? Are they supposed to rule because God in Deuteronomy turn them over to the sons of God? Do they belong to them other beings? And if so, do we have any business dealing with them? That's the question, because we're mixing spiritual systems. This is where the beef is coming in. We mixing spiritual systems up. And we can't be doing that. And then when people start speaking against the very symbols of those systems, we gotta banish them. We gotta get them away from us. Any symbol, any symbol that's not of the Most High God in that book right there. Then we'll talk about pillars and Solomon's pillar and the temple. Then we'll go to Kemet. We'll go to the temple. We'll see why they had rows of pillars. Why God had two pillars there. Why I ain't gonna even start bothering y'all about Sunday of the morning. I ain't gonna start bothering y'all about that because y'all gonna say I ain't giving y'all answers. But people need time to think. People need to look at some stuff, and people need time to think. I don't hate the church. We the church if we believe in the everlasting God. If we're children of the Most High God. If we've been washed in the blood. But the problem is some of us been washed in the blood and we have been manipulated. Preachers have went and dabbled in other stuff and they came back and they introduced that other stuff to us that was outside of the book. But we always looking for something new. We always looking for a new prophecy, a new word. We forget about just living right and reading that book. We want some deeper things. And this is kind of the problem because we want some deeper things. You're going to get what you're looking for. You're going to get what you're looking for. And I said maybe later on we'll talk about the rest of that stuff. But I like what Steve said in his other book, the second coming of the new age. It ain't really a second coming. I don't agree with that part, but it's stages that these beings set up. So a lot of people come to church and they start off with a false conversion and then a false tongue and speaking tongues. You ain't getting up off that altar till you start speaking and then you start doing stuff and then a devil jump on you and you just open yourself up to some other spirits. And a lot of people have done that. They've opened themselves up to some other things, and we started just regularly practicing things that's not of the book. And it's a little dangerous. But the problem is that so much of it is spread around right now, and because it's so popular, because you can say what you want, charismatic movement is popular because it tells people that you have power to gain wealth. You have power to live prosperous. If this gospel that we preach don't work all over the face of the earth, and it only work in prosperous nations like quote unquote America, Canada, or among a few mega pastors that's getting their bread up in Africa, it ain't the true gospel. Y'all busy worried about them other people. Y'all better worry about what gospel been riding hand in hand with y'all in the church. Where have y'all? Where have y'all? There's been a few people, pastors that spoke out against the prosperity gospel, but y'all didn't go in like y'all were supposed to on them tongues, on them name it and claim it, and these manifestations. These manifestations. Y'all got manifestations, some fake, some real. I remember back in the days they were going around the tent meetings. Oh, I'm getting a gold filling. Gold is coming in people's mouths. And other people sitting back like, what the dust is coming out the air conditioning system? And the listen, I'm gonna tell y'all, I'm done. I'm gonna leave you church folk alone. Y'all, I'm done with. I'm done. I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna leave it alone because whatever I say, I'm the bad guy. But we got a lot of crazy stuff going on. We got to cut this madness out and see what the book really say. We got to make sure that we're really, really in the book and we're going to really stop it because y'all want to show and these people have put a show on for y'all. Some people did it willingly. Some people deliberately deceived y'all. They put a show on, and there's a lot of people that believe in the show. And because of the show, because of the madness, there's a lot of people that don't even want the God of the Bible because they think that he's connected with the madness that we have done in the church. All right, I'm talking mostly Pentecostal charismatic and not everyone. Like I said, I'm talking Pentecostal. We believe in balance. We ain't bumping each other and rolling on, but I've been to them churches too, rolling on the floor and foaming at them. I've been there, done that. So we got to be careful. I just want to lay it out there. We're going to talk about John D and them and the occult tradition. People want to know why I talk about Freemasonry in them schools so much because them schools are directly, those schools are spiritual schools. Rosicrucian, Freemasons, Mystic, they are spiritual schools to teach, to develop, to train. And there's esoteric levels even within those orders. It's pyramids in the church, in spirituality. There's pyramids. I'm going to talk about God in the pyramid. That I ain't going to do publicly. I'm going to talk about God in the pyramids. It's it's a whole bunch of stuff. I used to tell them back in the days when I had a church. I said, "This ain't like your mom in them church because we're gonna get on some other stuff." All right, y'all. I'm going. Hopefully I'll try to get I try to get a way out of here, and I'll be back for class tomorrow night. I'm gonna try at 3:30. I'm gonna try to test that Zoom thing out one more time with that code. Y'all come on, I'll show y'all some books, I'll show y'all some slides. And it's on my Patreon people, and we're gonna go. We got some questions to answer. We're gonna go and I'm gonna show y'all some pictures, I'm gonna show y'all some preachers, and we're gonna it is what it is. It is what it is. People can say what they want, but I'm gonna do God's will. Exposing the works of darkness. We gotta talk about it. And there are people, there are pastors that are confused about some stuff, and they be like, yo, I just want to, and I want to say their name. They just want to call on the side and chop it up because there's things that they're seeing in the text, and there's things that other people are practicing. What do we do when we do have similarities? What do we do with that? They speak in tongues, we speak in tongues. You just shut the tongues down altogether because we don't know what's going on. We have there's some stuff to look at. All right, I ain't getting to other stuff, but I'm gonna get out of here right now. Y'all know what it is. Dollar sign Berean teach. We don't have coffee. I don't have coffee. I don't have donuts. I done ate the whole box of blessed. Let me get out of here, y'all. Dollar sign Berean teach. Y'all can hit me at BereanTeach@gmail.com. Love y'all, man.